Pleased to be joined by Kevin Kisner, who is playing in his 7th career PGA Championship. Kevin, is it safe to say, as a South Carolinian, is that the right term, that you've had this marked on your calendar for a little bit of time and kind of looking forward to maybe a special week for a hometown guy?
Yeah, obviously being from South Carolina, this is a tournament I definitely look forward to. I'm fortunate that my sister and brother-in-law have a beach house here, so I reserved that many years ago when it came out on schedule, and we're having a great week with my whole family here, my parents and their family. So got a sweet setup and a great venue, and obviously glad to be in my home state.
We'll start with
we
Jeff.
We came in to listen to you tell us about the 100 times you've played out here. Well, you just haven't.
No, I wouldn't say the ocean course is one that you venture to for fun. So I come down here for vacation with my family. I think I've played it one other time with my wife's side of the family. Her dad and my brother-in-law on that side, they wanted to come play and see how difficult it really was. So we came out here and laughed at them one afternoon. But I don't play much golf when I come to Kiowa, and rather be over there by 14 tee at the beach club hanging out than standing on the 14th tee.
How much of it have you seen this week, and what's the biggest thing it asks you to do?
Well, obviously today's the windiest day. I got here Sunday and played them all. The golf course is absolutely pristine as far as condition. I don't know if you could ever ask for it to be any better. I don't even think they need to dramatically change it from here through Sunday. It's just a great test overall. It's visually tough off the tee, but there's plenty of room. And then when you get winds up in the 15 to 20, it just makes the end of the wind holes that much harder. So we played the back 9 today, and you turn on 14, and that stretch, those last 5, it was just wearing you out, with long clubs. But you catch the downwind holes, you can make some birdies if you can drive it in the fairway and have some shorter shots in. So the greens are still somewhat receptive, even downwind, which makes it nice to be able to make some birdies. And I think the PGA does a great job of setting it up to allow us to. They're not trying to embarrass us or make it unfair. So I think they like to see us be tested, but allow us to make birdies with good shots.
Kevin, you've obviously got your sights set on the Wanamaker this week, but what to date, what might be the biggest event or championship you've won in this state as you grew up here?
I don't think I ever won the state amateur championship. So probably just the state junior for the state of South Carolina. I was on a bunch of team events between North and South Carolina, or the Carolina versus Georgia matches. So probably the state junior is the biggest one.
Is there something special about growing up in this state when you get on the path playing golf? And it seems like it's a state that's really synced up with golf, and
yeah,
I think it's treated you well so far through your career.
Yeah, we were fortunate to have a great junior golf association that ran great events and hosted events throughout the state that we got to travel around and play. Like DJ and I grew up traveling around playing in all these different state events and spent a lot of time together, and I think that really is a great training tool for how our careers progressed, is being able to play against good competition at a young age, and fortunate to have a great golf association.
Let's go to Ron on 4.
This golf course has been mentioned as one of the hardest courses anywhere. Do you agree, just on a regular day, and what about now?
Well, definitely now with the, obviously I don't think we're going to play the back edge of every tee box like we're doing in practice rounds. Excuse me, but it's all wind biased. If there's no wind, the long holes are still long, but they're easier. They don't dramatically make poor shots worse. Like 17 straight in is just absolutely brutal, and there's not a lot of bailouts. So it's definitely one of the hardest tests that I've played in my life, for sure.
Around the greens, they all seem to be raised a little bit. What particular challenge does that add?
Well, I was telling my coach out there, I feel like I'm going to have neck problems from having to look up so much on all the pitch shots. But the condition around the green is just perfect the whole way. So you get really good lies, and if you hit a proper shot, you can control your spin and your height. So they give you a chance. And I think the biggest key is you're going to see guys, if it blows like this, missing it further away from the hole to be able to chip it into the wind, because the greens aren't overly fast. They can't be, and they're not overly firm. So you can really get the ball up and down a lot with how good they are in the condition if you can use the wind as your friend.
Kevin, okay, go ahead.
Junior, and was DJ in the field?
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
Where'd you win it?
I'm pretty sure it was at Lexington Country Club every year in Lexington, South Carolina. But that would have to be like 2001. Bob would probably know better than I would. 2001 or 2000, somewhere around there. I graduated high school in 2002, so somewhere around there.
Let's go to Bill here at 6.
I'm curious how you're adapting to the newly condensed schedule of major championships, or how you plan to adapt moving forward.
Well, I haven't played well in any of them since we went to the super schedule, so I'm hoping that changes this week. The entire world got turned upside down, obviously, and we've all had to adapt throughout the last year. So I think we're probably at a point now that we're returning to somewhat normalcy, and I'm looking forward to getting back to playing well. I think the hardest thing is every event feels big now because we're running around the corner, and we're going to have 6 majors, the Players, World Golf Championships. It feels like every 2 or 3 weeks we're at a venue where it's super stressful on the game because it's a difficult golf course or a difficult event. So I think that's one of the hardest is you don't get in a flow of playing and shooting 65 like they did last week and then turn around and playing a course like this. It feels like constantly getting beat up out here. So with the big schedule.
Do you like this schedule though, in general, or?
Well, I think it was just a reaction to all the events of last year. I wouldn't think a schedule of 6 majors every year would be anything we would try to attain. I think 4 is about the right spot with the Players and the World Golf Championships. So I'm more for boosting up the regular tour events along the way as well as playing the majors, and that way it gives guys more chance to create their schedule and be prepared at the major championships.
Thanks.
Kevin, let's zoom out to Steve. Steve, you're with
Anybody
Kevin.
but Steve.
Wow. Too late. I already
Come
pushed
on.
the button.
Come on, kids. Can we go back to the difficulty of one particular hole, the 17th hole, and what range of club do you think you might be hitting this week, and how difficult is that hole?
Well, the wind is in the same direction today as it's supposed to be through Friday, so I believe we're going to play. Lord hope that we're going to play a tee up. Today we played it at 202 from the front edge of the back box, so we were trying to hit a 235-yard shot over water to an area about 13 yards wide. I tried to hit a 7-wood, was unsuccessful. It's not a very easy shot into the wind, so depending on where they play it and where the flag is, I think you have a range from 5-iron to 3-wood. Sounds fun, doesn't it?
Hey. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Kevin, last time we routed our championship into the Carolinas was 17 up at Quail Hollow, and you were right in the thick of it, made a hell of a push. I think you were leading after 3 rounds. Was there something about the comforts of being in a familiar area that, at least regionally at that point, that helped you get to that point, and do you hope to recapture that here this week?
For sure. I think anytime you're in a familiar area or an area that you're used to seeing the certain type of grass or conditions that we grew up on, it brings back some confidence to your game. Obviously, if I fly to the West Coast, I don't feel as comfortable on the grass and the conditions there. I feel comfortable in 85 and blowing down here at the beach and on these paspalum greens. And definitely at Quail Hollow, I felt like I could make every putt because it was Bermuda grass, and that's what I grew up on. So I'm gonna definitely lean on that for experience headed into this week.
Any special family members or friends that are here this week that you're especially, noteworthy for you?
I've definitely talked my father, who's 70, is still working like crazy. I'm trying to talk him out of that, but I forced him into coming early, so he's already here, and he complains every afternoon when I get home about how much his phone's been ringing about work. So we're having a good time. I have a good buddy over at the house cooking for me, so everybody's being able to hang out, which we don't get to do much as you all know, when you get family, somebody's in the kitchen cooking or cleaning or going to get something. So everybody's getting to spend time with my kids and my sister's kids. It's a lot of fun.
You mentioned one of the clubs that range is a 7-wood. Seems like a trendy club out here now. How long have you had that in the bag, and why are all these guys going to it?
Well, I think not to beat up on the manufacturers, but they just keep bending laws stronger and stronger, and so you grab a 5-wood and you're hitting as far as your 3-wood, and it doesn't really accomplish the goal. So I think it's just a fancy number on the bottom of a club, to be honest with you. It's more of how far I'm hitting it. I was looking for something in the 235, 240 range, and that's where I hit it. But, you know, that's kind of where our threshold is into the par fives and a lot of par threes. But as firm as conditions are getting these days, you got to have it coming in there softly, and 2-iron's just not going to get the job done anymore.
How long have you had it in?
I've probably been playing that since East Lake last year.
Okay.
Put it in East Lake, I believe.
Okay, Kevin. Well, thank you so much for joining us and providing the insights to the locals
Yes, sir.
as someone from the area, and we wish you the best of luck this week.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.